Hello, I'm Bert, and I can't sit still. That's the name of the channel. I want to tell you about my new job as a tour guide with Freewheeling Adventures. It's a great company that offers tours in a whole bunch of different locations, and I just finished my last tour last week, and it was a Side Roads bike tour in PEI. So here I'll tell you all about it. It was the 28th of June where we went to the freewheeling base and we loaded the van. We stopped along the way, got some goodies, drinks, and some snacks for our guests. And then we headed off to the University of PEI in Charlottetown. It's about a 4-hour drive. The room in UPEI where the guides were staying was a huge, massive room, which was great. And we arrived there a bit late, had a supper, and my co-guide, Pascal, went down to talk to the tour guide, and he got an uneasy feeling. So we had to unload all of the bikes and load them back into the room. So I'll show you a picture of that room. Next day we went to pick up the guests at the hotel they were staying at, and then we went to Fort Amherst where we started the tour. So at the start of a tour, you usually give a safety brief to all of the guests.
So I have two options for you.
Okay.
If you can either go with the group, whichever way.
You get them fitted on the bikes, and we start riding. We took a group pick, and for that drive that day was from Fort Amherst all the way to Kincora, 41.7 miles or 67.2 kilometers. That night we stayed at the Shea Shea Inn in Kincora, and Anne Marie, who was the owner of that, was excellent. They let us store all of our bikes in the garage in the back, so that was really good. We saw a few lighthouses along the way. Once the guests got all settled in, then we went for supper at Casa Mia. I have a few videos of us on the road. It was really wet that day, but it wasn't too bad. We got a little bit soaked, but it was all right. Was from Kincora to Cavendish, so that was a 41-mile bike ride or 66.1 kilometers. That day I was in the van. So in the morning, Pascal got the bikes all oiled, loaded the bags. We loaded the guest bags back into the van, and off we went. Because I was in the van, I had to set up a picnic that day, and I had learned from some of the locals that there was a beach called Thunder Cove Beach, so that's where I was going to set up a picnic. It was a little bit stressful because I hadn't been there before, and I wanted to do a really good job. When I arrived, there was no picnic tables, there was not really much parking, no washrooms, so yeah, that kind of sucked. I had to improvise, so I set up a roadside picnic. Um, to add to the stress, the check engine light come on, so I wasn't sure what was going there, but they have a little computer, so I plugged that in and it told me what the error was. But we were running low on coolant beforehand, and that was probably the issue, because once I filled that, the next day the light went out. So we ended that day at Kindred Spirits. That was in Cavendish, and I had some more bad luck because I backed into a lamppost, took that out. So, but it was a good place at Kindred Spirits. The guests seemed to like it. They went for a hike afterwards. They enjoyed the picnic, and yeah, everything was good. This is where we're leaving from, Kindred Spirits. There's a light post I took out. Um, Day three, I was on the bike, 42.1 kilometers, 26.1 miles, and we were leaving from Cavendish going to Delvey by the Sea. When we left, the route was really nice because they have these nice little side paths, much safer than riding on the road. And there were some nice red cliffs that we stopped to take some pictures by. We also saw a few lighthouses along the way in Rustico and also at Brackley Beach. Um, Brackley Beach, we stopped and had lunch at the Dunes Studio and Gallery. It's a really great spot. Beautiful gardens in the back. They had all kinds of um, wooden things there, like little wooden ducks and carvings and tables and different things like that. So that was pretty awesome. That night, we stayed at Delvey by the Sea. It's a really awesome old building by the sea. That's what it looks like there. Uh, and after we got all the guests settled in, we went for a swim on the beach there. So it was pretty good. And then we had supper that night at Delvey by the Sea. Excellent supper. Second, from Delvey to Greenwich. That was a 40.4 mile drive in the van. One of the guests stayed with me in the van that day. Her name was Anne. Her didn't want to ride the bikes anymore, so that was fine. We stopped and had a picnic in the little town of Morel. There was a co-op right across the street. There was a nice gazebo there, so that was perfect. But along the way first, I did stop at a beach to offer the guests drinks and granola bar snacks, which was good. And Anne was helping me to kind of navigate there a bit. When we did stop for our lunch, I got some grilled lobster sandwiches for the guests, and they really seemed to enjoy that. For the evening, this was pretty much our longest day because in the evening we stayed at the Misa spa, which was great because the guides had passes too. So once we were able to get the guests settled in their rooms, with their baggage and luggage, that was all good. We had a chance to enjoy the spa before supper. So I don't know if you've been to Misa Spa or not, but they do a cycle where you do 15 minutes of heat, you do up to a minute in cold, like a cold plunge, and then you do about 15 minutes of quiet. So they had eucalyptus sauna. They had like a wet sauna, dry sauna. They also had this like quiet room with these like giant beanbag chairs, which was really cool. And we really quite enjoyed that. For supper that night, it was great. They had chicken. The way they cook it in the brine was just fantastic. So after supper, the Greenwich, if you go to the end in the park, there's these floating docks. So about 5 of us took advantage of that, went for a hike, and we saw that beautiful sunset in the sand dunes. It was fantastic. So guides that night stayed at Spry Point, which by the time we got back, it was like in the dark. So we were knocking on the wrong door because I had called ahead, and the guy said, "Yeah, just walk through the kitchen, knock on the door, it's all good." But we went a little bit farther. We went to the wrong building, so that was kind of that sucked. But from there, we had a pretty good sleep, and yeah, that's it for that day. So on July 3rd, that was my chance to be in the bike again. Me and Pascal, we kind of split our duties pretty good. One day I was in the van, one day he was in the van, and the other day we're opposite, we're on the bikes. So for this day, we were going from Greenwich to Georgetown, and there was three options for this day: 56 kilometers, 71, or 81. So the majority of the guests chose the 71 kilometers. So there's a few pics here of us leaving the Misa Spa in the morning, and our first stop was about 20K in. Pascal stopped at the Ship Point Lighthouse, and after we had our snacks, we had a look at the lighthouse, which was pretty cool. And then our second stop where we had lunch was at the East Point Lighthouse, which was pretty neat. I got some video of the guests going up, and it was a beautiful sunny day. Our third stop and last stop at the end of the day was at the Basin Head Provincial Park. So if you get a chance to go there, great swimming. I got a little video of Monty, 73-year-old guy, jumping into the water. It was really exhilarating.
Okay, guys, y'all ready?
We're ready.
1, 2, 3.
Now the fish is getting out.
So after that picnic, we loaded the bikes on top of the van, and then we headed to Georgetown. And we didn't have much time that day, so we settled quickly, and we went for supper at the Wheelhouse. Day, July 4th, that was my day in the van again, so we went from Georgetown to Panmure. That was just a short ride, only 25 miles that day. There was some traffic in the town of Montague, but I did have a chance to do a quick stop at the superstore where I picked up some drinks, some snacks, and some popsicles. The guests it was pretty hot. The guests seemed to really enjoy when I had met them halfway and gave them some popsicles. And then I ordered some pizza from Greco Pizza. I wanted to keep it kind of like a maritime thing where they could get a chance to have some local maritime stuff. And we'd been eating fish and lobster and other things like that the few days before, so I thought I'd mix it up and give them some pizza. After we had our break, there was a massive rainstorm. It only lasted about 10 minutes, but everyone got soaked. But it had stopped raining by the time we stopped at the lighthouse in Panmure Island to have our lunch. So that was good. After lunch, we took a nice group pic and loaded the bikes and then headed home to drop them off at the hotel. So after we dropped them off at the hotel, we had driven the last 4 hours back to Halifax to return the van, return the gear, and finish the tour. My thoughts of the tour was it was a fantastic week. It went really quick. We worked our asses off this week, I'll tell you that. I mean, it's not really working when you're eating steak and lobster with the guests, but it was a fantastic week, and I really enjoyed it, and I'm looking forward to my next tour, which is coming up in the next couple weeks, and that's going to be the northern end of New Brunswick. So Anyways, hope you like this. If you do, give me the thumbs up, and I'll see you in the next one.